Hey y'all, what's up? It's Sydney here, aka Sedilic Sunflower, and I am here today to give y'all another serving of my truth. So, today I am going to be doing a video over my top 5 mistakes that I feel like I've made while I've been on my spiritual journey. And while I am calling it my top 5 mistakes, they really aren't in any particular order or anything like that. So I really just listed them out. But we can go ahead and jump into them. So, if you've been following me or anything like that, you'll know that I really started on my spiritual journey back in 2016 when I was in grad school. And that was like a pretty low point in my life. I was really stressed, tired, depressed, different things like that. But one thing about that time in my life was that I was trying to go super hard with living by the traditional Christianity that I was brought up on. And it was not working. I felt like I was kind of like living a life that I really didn't want to live. And also, I felt like all the things that I was doing didn't really resonate with me as an individual. And I knew that it had to be something more out there. There's so many different cultures and all these different people living on this planet. I knew like there had to be something beyond, Christianity. So I started seeking more, and I kind of just was led to different things. And I so far have developed my own form of spirituality, my own spiritual practices, and different things like that. But let's just start with the first thing that I listed. So the first thing that I wrote down was that I did a lot of things based on what others did and based on what other people said I should be doing. So, yeah. So pretty much when I started, that was kind of like when this whole like spiritual new age metaphysics thing was really starting to pop for like our generations. And like, wow, I'm really thankful for social media and like how it did expose me to different truths and things like that. It also kind of like made me think that I had to be doing certain things or different things like that that I really didn't have to do to be seen as spiritual or to be this spiritual person or to even be connected to source myself. So one example that I'll give is with language. I use a lot of Southern slang. I'm from the South, and I really don't, I pay attention to what I say, but I'm definitely not a person that is gonna go around the corner and around the block to figure out how to say good morning or hello to an individual or to greet an individual just to seem spiritual. That's just not me as a person. But that was something that I felt like I had to do. So like for instance, grand rising, I say it sometimes still, but it's not something that just naturally resonates with me. But I felt like I had to say it. I felt like, oh, I need to say this because I need to be different. I need to make people think about what they're saying and this and that. It wasn't something that came naturally to me. But it was like things like that, like I would say, king, calling people king, calling people queen, like on a daily, like interaction basis. That's not me. That's not me. It's something that actually kind of annoys me. But a few years ago, I felt like I had to say these things. It was like, I have to say this to be this spiritual person. Like, I have to say these things. There's nothing wrong with calling yourself a queen or calling yourself a king, but, that's just not what naturally comes out of my mouth. But yeah, different things like that. Like I felt like I needed to go around the block and around the corner and come up with all these different extra conscious sayings and things like that to replace the slang or the terms that I naturally would use. Now, I do know where certain words come from, the origin of certain words. However, I do believe that my intention and the power that I put behind the things that I say is a lot more powerful than the origin of those words, because I do believe that intention plays a large part in everything. So the second thing that I put down was that I made myself weak to seem so nice and love driven. So I noticed that it's really not as big of a trend as it was a few years ago. But like really before I really dove deep into spirituality, I was a really strong minded, hot headed Aries. I was like probably that typical, stereotypical Aries. And it was like, I'm never gonna back down from a challenge. Like, I'm never gonna be wrong. Like, I'm gonna always speak my mind. I'm a person to where even now, like, if I don't like you, if I get weird vibes for you, if my intuition is telling me that something is up with you, you gonna know it, because I cannot fake it. It's hard for me to fake those things. And I really was always seemed to be perceived as mean for being real, even though I know I wasn't mean. It was like I just knew people were fake. I did. But like I got tired of being this person that was perceived as being mean, when really I do have a good heart and I am a very good person. I got tired of those things, and people would be telling me, you're mean, you're this, you're that, when in reality, now when I look back on it, I really truly was not. I was just speaking my mind and using my voice, and I was just really speaking truth over situations. Now, could have said things in a different way to have more love behind it. Yeah, I could have. But because of how I was perceived, and because of me not really liking how I was perceived and wanting to be this spiritual person, I literally thought that I had to be all love and light. And so, like I said, you don't really see it anymore. But a few years ago, love and light was all over social media. It was all over social media. It was like, I really thought that I had to be 100% all love and light in order to be this spiritual person, in order to be this person that was connected to source, in order to be this person that was connected to the divinity within me, in order to be closer to my higher self. I thought that I had to be 100% love and light, and I thought that that meant really dimming my light, dimming who I was naturally, dimming my voice, and like really not speaking out on certain things that I would speak out on. And it really kind of made me a pushover and a people pleaser, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And a couple of years ago, I really started to realize, I was like, dang, Sydney, like, you really became a pushover and a people pleaser. Like, what happened? Like, you used to have all this fire inside of you. What happened? And it was like, yeah, because you thought that you had to be all love and light to be connected to source, when in reality, you can be spiritually, you can be spiritual, you can be grounded, you can be in tune, and guess what? You can still check a mofo. You can still call somebody out on their BS. You can still speak your mind. You can still let truth be known when it needs to be known. Like, honoring yourself and honoring spirit is not people pleasing. It's not an uneven energy exchange. So yeah, that's one big lesson that I learned. The third thing that I wrote down is that I limited myself. I slick started doing some of the same things that I hated about organized religion. Number one, with that being, when I limited myself, I started judging others for them not limiting themselves. So when I hopped into like my spiritual journey and all of that, I also locked my hair, which I actually had been wanting to do for a while. just for, really honestly superficial reasons, because not superficial reasons actually, but for health reasons, for my hair health reasons, because my hair never really thrived. But it was like ever since I locked it, y'all see it's thriving and it's popping. But yeah, that's besides the point. Uh yeah, I locked my hair, and I also went vegan. And I went vegan really because honestly I started getting grossed out by meat. I had this incident to happen with chicken, and I will never forget. It was like the whole, like the whole chicken wing, like the full chicken wing. I was making something one day and I got so grossed out, and shortly after that I went vegan. So yeah, I went vegan. I liked my hair. I changed a lot of other things about my lifestyle. And I started to judge those who weren't. I started to judge people who wore weave. I started to judge people who wore like different color hair. I started to judge people who ate meat. I started to like just judge people for BS, like for real. And like I was doing basically the same things that I said that I hated about organized religion. Like this is one reason why it took me so long to color my hair, is because I kind of felt like, oh well, if I color my hair, then that means I don't really like my natural state. I don't like my natural self. BS, complete BS. I limited myself for no reason. I also did things like try to cut out listening to music that I really, really like rap music and stuff like that. Because I'm like, oh, well, this don't have no substance to it. And this, that. Psh. I've always been a big rap fan, big hip hop fan. Cutting out those things really made my life duller and boring. And one thing that I learned along the way with that is that everything is about balance. So yeah, I can turn up, I can listen to, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Young Dolph, whatever. But also, guess what? When I need it, I can listen to healing sounds, healing music, binaural beats, drumming, 432 hertz music, different things like that. It's all about having a balance. And then like when it comes to like the wearing weave and eating meat and different stuff like that, like I like I said, I went vegan in 2016. I went hardcore. Like I was alkaline vegan, like I went hardcore. Hardcore. Recently, I started back incorporating things like fish into my diet. And I did this because I really was feeling intuitively called to do these things. So it's like now I am still mostly vegan. Like I'm still probably 97, 98% vegan, but and I know it's hard to put a percentage on those things, but I eat intuitively. I really eat what my intuition tells me to eat, and I really do believe that eating consciously and eating intuitively is way better than just forcing a certain diet on yourself just to seem like something that, just to seem a certain way. And also, as you can see, I dyed my hair and it looks great on me because we're here to have an earthly experience. We're here to have a human experience, and I'm gonna enjoy it until, till I leave, and hopefully this will be my last cycle. So yeah. Number 4 is that I hid my spirituality out of fear, and out of fear of being judged. So I definitely did this for, I think I probably did that for like 2 years. I really hid my spirituality. Like I hid it and I lied about it. I just wouldn't talk about it, or like I think people knew that I was pretty liberal when it came to like religion and different stuff like that. But besides like probably like close friends, I never really spoke up about my spiritual practices and my spiritual beliefs. I like lied and told half truths to my family because, like I said, I was raised in a very religious family on both sides, and I'm from the South, Christians, and like that was a big deal. Like I remember hearing as a child and different things like that, like if you don't serve God, you don't believe believe in God, Jesus and all that, like you can't be around, like you're disowned and different things like that. Like, you know, like not not being Christian was like one of the worst things that you could ever be. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm worried about your soul. And it's like, I would get that a lot. Like, I'm worried about your soul. And it's like, but I'm not worried about my soul or my spirit because I'm more connected than ever right now. But I hate it. I lied about doing tarot readings and different stuff like that. I lied at work. I lied at home. Like, and it was dumb because yet and still I have all these Christian folk around me who are voicing their opinions, giving their religious opinions, trying to convert me, trying to, you know, all these different things. And it's like, but I'm fearful to voice what I believe and to voice who I am spiritually. So yeah, that was probably one of the craziest things that I did, because the truth is, if people love and care for you in a very genuine way, they're going to accept you for who you are. They're going to accept your beliefs. They might not 100% agree with them, but whoever really loves you as an individual, and whoever is, you know, really not stuck on their own high horse or stuck in their own trauma and different things like that, like, they're not going to disown you. And the last thing, and one big reason why I hate that I did that is because, for one, I felt like I missed out on connections. So I missed out on connections with people who could have possibly thought the same things that I thought and believed the same way that I believed, but like I missed out on some of those connections because I didn't voice and express, you know, how I really believed. And then also number two, I also feel like I missed out on connecting with individuals who might have been like needing to know that there are other people that think like you, other people, like people who might have been questioning certain things, and people who needed to know, yeah, there is a different way to go about connecting with source, connecting with the creator. So yeah, that's something that I got over fairly early on though, because it was just tiring, like denying myself and who I was. And then the last thing that I wrote is that I thought that healing and growth was linear in a destination. So it's absolutely not. Um, it is a journey, and it is a everlasting, lifelong journey. Not to say that we don't process certain things and we've grown away from those things, or we don't clear out cycles of thinking, cycles of thought, cycles of hurt, cycles of behavior. Yes, we do. But the thing is, like, if you're a person who is always going to be growing spiritually, who is always going to be growing as an individual, like, healing is not going to be a destination. It's just not, because there's always going to be more to learn. There's always going to be more that you learn about yourself. There's always going to be things that you can improve on, or different things that come up. We do, like I said, we clear our cycles. We clear our behavior patterns. We do these things, but it's kind of like a continuous thing. It doesn't have to be exhausting. It doesn't have to take over your life in a way that bogs you down, but it is something that you are always growing and always learning. But yeah, probably when I got about a year in, I was like, dang, like I thought I dealt with all this stuff last year. Or I thought, you know, like when I got a year in, I was like, okay, I should be completely healed now. Like, I'm a person that I have dealt with a lot of childhood trauma, and like have had to reparent my inner child quite a bit. Like, and it's just like, I'm like, when does the shadow work end? And it's like, it never really ends, which is really not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing, because I've learned that every time I clear out one cycle, every time I learn something new about myself, every time I dig a little bit deeper, I start to enjoy life a little bit more, and I grow more. And I'm a person that's always focused on growing and learning more about myself, and just trying to build a connection with myself. So, that was my top 5 things. Like I said, they are in no particular order, and I really hope that this resonates with somebody out there. I definitely know that I'm not alone in some of the things that I was doing, but yeah, I hope that my experience helps somebody out there to realize that, you know, we all make mistakes along the way. And also, if you're struggling with some of those same things, it's okay. And I hope this just motivates you to cut it out and to stop it, especially if you're denying who you are, or if you're doing things that don't really resonate with you as an individual. So yeah, I'm Sydney, aka Sedelic Sunflower. You can check me out on Instagram at Sedelic Sunflower, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. If this video resonates with you, or if you took anything away from it, if you can relate to my experience, definitely let me know in the comments. And until next time, peace out.